And happy
Yes.
birthday, Michelle.
We are on it.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Heart to Heart. I'm Sally Reyes, your Sergeant at Arms. And please take out your phones and set them to silence. We want no disturbance in this fantastic array of speeches. We are getting to judge and enjoy and share all of our personalities and points of view. Thank you. And I want to introduce Jeannie Alfred, our Toastmaster of the day. Take out that genie dust and keep it moving, sprinkle it around, and give us an extra magical experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. And good afternoon, everybody. This is Heart to Heart. The mission of Toastmasters clubs everywhere is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. Here at Heart to Heart, we're also a specialty club focused on entrepreneurs and those who want to make their message more heartfelt and authentic. As such, we allow our members the option to practice a free and/or a paid offer from the stage in order to receive our patented, gentle Toastmasters feedback. We have a number of guests here today, and however, it's a contest, so I need to jump right in because we have 7 speakers. Not only do we have 7 speakers, but we have 7 really good speakers that are going to teach us just how to do it. They started from scratch like the rest of us. They learned everything like the rest of us, but they are stellar. So stellar that I'm sure they're going to go to the district level and beyond. So with that, I'd like to bring in Lynn Fraley, who's going to start us off with our heart as a heart master to give us kind of a setting for the meeting. Lynn?
Thank you so much, Jeannie. Setting is the proper term for this. We're talking about keeping your eyes open for this particular exercise because the heart master today is going to be addressing the vibrational level that we want to live with and that we want to imbue our club with, that we want to imbue our speakers with, our evaluators, and moving beyond our club, our culture. There are a lot of pressures right now, and the vibrational level that we hold is of critical importance for us. And we can practice that here. And the reason I asked you to keep your eyes open is because it's kind of difficult to be in the public world and keeping your eyes closed and becoming distant. So we get to practice today, keeping our vibrational level up, holding dear the people who are with us today, and just practicing living from a real, truly heart space at a vibrational level that's healing. Not low, not scattered, but healing and whole. And that's my contribution as heart master.
Thank you, Lynn. That's actually, it's beautiful. Holding the space is important, and that's what I hope all of us do, is hold the space for a very good contest here. Our theme today is personal best. And that means something different to everybody, but in the best 2 words, personal, whatever it is to you, and best. We can attain our personal best at any time that we put our mind to it. So today we have a contest going on, and what I'm going to do is bring up the contest chair, Kathleen Peel, who's going to give us, kind of the gist of how this is going to work, the order of our contestants, and things of that nature. Kathleen?
Thank you, President Toastmaster Jeannie. And the order of the contestants, as I think you all know, Gary is speaker number 1. Annabelle is speaker number 2. Michelle, speaker number 3. Isaac, speaker number 4, Karina, number 5, Kimmy, number 6, Cynthia, number 7. And the judges have been briefed and the contestants have been briefed. And Michael Ann has updated the information in the agenda and just posted it. And we will have a very brief little conversation with each speaker just for fun after the speech contest and the speeches have been delivered. We'll have little conversations. They're going to be extremely brief, and they are from 45 to 90 seconds period that the speakers will get to say a little something. And that's just so that we can have a lot of speakers and in a timely manner. With that, let's proceed. Ms. Tech Host Linda?
I have one comment, and I want to thank Deb Peretz for putting her hand up. For the contestants, the timer will have a raised hand and will always be in the upper left-hand corner so that you can see her throughout the contest. That's all I need to say. Thank you.
Okay, so now I would like to bring up Deb Peretz, who is our timer, and she will explain how the meeting will go time-wise.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I am your main timer for tonight, and the speeches are all 5 to 7 minute speeches. When you reach the 5-minute mark, I will change my background to green. When you reach the 6-minute mark, I'll change it to yellow. And when you reach the red, the 7-minute mark, I'll change the background to red. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you. And just a quick reminder, we are on Zoom. If you didn't know that you were going virtual, I just wanted to remind you of that because, you know, sometimes we get scattered, which is why I want to remind you to make sure your phones are on vibrate or off, and that if you are not speaking and you don't have a role, please have your microphone on mute so that we can keep moving this along with a minimum of interruptions. And with that, I'm going to bring up our very first speaker, and that is Gary McKenzie. His talk is Till You Can't. Till You Can't, Gary McKenzie.
Last September, I was driving through Montana, just enjoying the beautiful scenery, thinking about vacations I'd like to take, people I've met, and certainly planning for my business. And suddenly, on the car radio came a song that impacted me. Have you ever had that experience hearing a song? And one phrase in that song changes your life? For me, the name of that song was Till You Can't. And it dealt with the importance of spending time with family members. Don't put it off. Or if you have relationships that need to be amended, do it. Or just individuals that you need to say, thank you. I appreciate your support. Don't put it off until you can't. Or perhaps you have a dream. Follow your dream. Don't put it off until you can't. Now I was thinking about that. I was thinking about my son, Jay. Him and I have been talking about taking a hiking trip for 2 years. And I've been always too busy. I thought, I am not going to put this off until I can. I pulled the car to the side of the road, took out my cell phone, called him. He answered. I said, hey, Jay, this is your dad. Remember that trip we've been talking about doing? Yeah. I said, pull out your calendar. Let's make it happen. And we did. We had a wonderful trip. Since then, we planned 2 more. So glad I didn't wait till I got to that point. Right? Could not. Thinking about that, had you been with me last November, you'd have saw me step out of the office room or meeting room with a client in a high-rise office building. And I stepped in the elevator. You would have saw another man step in behind me, a friendly looking guy. And you would have heard him say, "Hey, how are you today?" I said, "Well, I'm fine." And then you would have saw me do something really out of character for me in an elevator. I extended my hand and said, "My name is Gary." "Well, how interesting. My name is Gary also. Two Garys in the same elevator. How unique." And then he proceeded to tell me that he worked for the district attorney's office. He said, "I haven't always worked for the DA's office. For 30 years, I was a police officer in the Modesto Police Department." "Well, Gary, you may know my older brother, Gerald McKenzie." "Oh my gosh, Gerald McKenzie, you're his brother?" "Yes." "Wow, he hired me. I still remember the day he hired me." And oh, I remember a time when I made some missteps. He came to bat for me. He had my back. He saved my career. Yeah, and I remember the reprimand I received from him also. And then I also remember after he'd retired and I was receiving an award from the Veterans of Foreign Wars as an Outstanding Citizen of the Year, he was there in the audience supporting me. And I always meant to tell him how much I appreciated his support. I remembered how I felt when I saw he had passed away. I'd waited too long until I can't. Just last month, I was invited to my wife's great uncle's 92nd birthday party. His name is Zach, and I'd never met him. We attended the birthday party, and I saw him coming towards me. He's a small man with brilliant blue eyes. He looked at me and he said, "Young man, what do you do for a living?" "Well, Zach, I work with individuals, with entrepreneurs that want to create and build a business." "So you know, I retired early, 62 years of age. I had a dream, a business I wanted to create. And all my buddies said, "Zach, you're too old. You don't want to go into business at 62. You want to have fun. You want to go fishing. You want to spend time with your grandkids." With Zach, Zach took out his cell phone, punched up some information. He showed me a website of a business. I said, "Zach, that's great. That's tremendous." "No, it's not." So I took my buddy's advice. This is another man, business, who had the same idea. Had I followed my dream, this would be my business. And now at 92 years of age, I'm too old. I waited till I can't. That evening, I was driving home from the birthday party with Zach. I was thinking about Diana. When I first met Diana, she said to me, "Gary, my girlfriends all say I'm crazy. You see, I've got this very secure job with excellent pay, tremendous benefits, and I'm on the fast track to becoming vice president." "Well, Diana, that's great." "No, Gary, no, it's not. I have a dream. I have a dream of a business I want to create. I don't want to be in corporate anymore." And so now for the next 6 months, Diana and I worked together, creating an exit strategy, building out her business plan. In fact, she called it her escape plan. I still remember receiving an email from Diana. The email said, "Hey, Gary, this is Diana. Remember those girlfriends I told you about that said I was crazy? Well, I'm inviting all of them to my book signing, and I'd be honored if you would attend as my guest." Diana did not wait to follow her dream until she couldn't. My message to you today is, if you have family members, trips you want to take time, take the trip, get together with your family members. Don't put it off until you can't. If you have relationships that need to be amended, need to be fixed, or just people you need to say, "Thank you. I appreciate your support. You've helped me greatly." Do it. Don't wait till you can't. And if you have a dream, follow it. Take action. Don't wait until you can't. Adam, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Gary. And I'd like to ask for 1 minute on the clock for our evaluators.
That's 1 minute.
Thank you. Now I'd like to invite up Annabelle Colstock. Annabelle's talk is Everyday Miracles. Everyday Miracles, Annabelle Colstock.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Have you ever had an experience that turned out to be nothing like you expected it to be? Maybe it was a decision to move to a new state, or maybe take a job or leave a job. Or how about just RSVPing yes to a party? There are times in your lives when a single event or decision could have a dramatic effect on where your life goes and the rest of your life, the lives of your family and your children and their children. If our parents' hadn't decided to move where they did, maybe a lot of us would have a totally different life. There are times, these are big choices, and they cause great or bad things to happen in one's life. But big choices and decisions can have very big changes in people and their families and their legacy, but small choices can also have very welcome and advantageous changes to our lives in the present. Last year, we just moved into a beautiful new house that we found in an area, a rural area of Central California, on the Central California coast. We love it here. We have land around us and it's very quiet. We live on a street that we have cows, we have chickens, not us personally, our neighbors, chickens, cows, horses. There is even somebody who's got an ostrich running around the front yard. And I think somebody has a pig, and I've seen many, many chickens. And oh yeah, and then there's a ram. It's so fun driving into our house. We have an adventure every day. So I'm just giving you kind of a snapshot of what it's like here in our neighborhood. Well, it was probably a few months into living in our house that we decided that we started feeding a stray cat that was coming around, my husband especially. He thought this cat needed some food. She was scraggly and small and she looked hungry. So we fed her. We fed her for several weeks. And she was a very friendly cat, a beautiful tabby cat. We fed her for several weeks. And one day, suddenly we heard meow, meow at the back door. We went and looked. This cat, who we named Heidi had dropped her 2 kittens at the back door. 2 little, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks old kittens. It was astonishing. Well, what would make her come and well, I guess she knew the source of food, and she trusted us to take us in, to take her and her family in. So we made a little warm spot for her and the kittens, and we brought them into a little side room that we have that we could keep them. Well, Heidi wasn't content. She was really agitated, and she went back outside. We let her go outside. She went outside into a field that's right here on our property, and she was crying and meowing. So we had to go see what is it, Heidi? Well, as we walked out there, had been raining, kind of like it has been recently here. This was last September. And out of these gnarly roots of an oak tree that was in our yard comes crawling out, almost like he was crawling out of all the leaves, the dead leaves and the dirt. This little tiny adorable thing. He was a seal point cat, little kitten, brown ears, a brown smudged face, brown paws and a brown tail, and cream colored fur all the rest of his body. Just adorable. So here we had number 3, and we brought them all in. Our mother, our sweet cat mother, Heidi, she took care of them, fed them, and took care of them in our little sunroom until this very day. We can't let go of them. We've been attached. We've become attached. So this little family became part of our family, and we are just overjoyed. Now, Toastmasters and guests, the definition in the Britannica dictionary that I found for the word miracle is an extraordinary and astonishing happening that is attributed to the presence of an ultimate or divine power. I believe we all have access to this higher power because it wants nothing more than to have each of us be fulfilled, be happy, and be living in harmony with each other. I have another story that kind of illustrates my point. About 3 years ago, it's been 3 years ago now, ever since the beginning of the pandemic and the lockdown, I have been meeting weekly with a group of women, and we have been, we all got together through a Facebook group. Craziest thing of all. We all loved this Facebook, this podcast. We all came from a podcast, which later turned into a Facebook group, which later turned into a book club. But this podcast was something that we were all very interested in. We're all women of a certain age, and we're done with mostly raising our children. And we thought this would be a great group to get involved with, to be reading books, learning from one another, sharing, and especially boosting each other up as we start our new adventures in our life after motherhood. Well, wouldn't you know, with 2 years after we started meeting, we actually met in person. We all got together through all the hardships of getting out of, one of our members is from Canada, getting out of Canada during all this time with all the COVID restrictions. We did manage to secure a spot on the beach in Southern California, and we all got together. We have somebody from Canada. 3 of us were from here in California, but then we have somebody from Georgia, somebody from Indiana, Missouri, Maryland, and Michigan, I think. Yeah. And then one person from Canada. We came from all over the country to get together because we had formed such a close bond as this book club and being part of this group of ladies that just want to learn and share with one another. And we've read so many great books, and it's been just a joy every Wednesday to meet with these ladies. Being a member of this club here was kind of a miracle. I said yes to somebody who invited me to come as a guest, and the rest is history. Maybe these are miracles, maybe they're simple serendipitous or random events, but I believe there's something greater than us that's making things happen for us that we only need to be aware of and to let into our lives. So I highly recommend that you keep your awareness open for everyday miracles, because you have no idea what wonderful things will happen when you follow those divine prompts. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Annabelle. I love everyday miracles myself, just as a thought. I would like to invite up Dr. Michelle Pedicola.
How about 1 minute?
Oh, I'm sorry, 1 minute. And that's being flexible.
That's 1 minute.
Thank you. And now I'd like to invite our third contestant, Dr. Michelle Pedicola. More than worthy, Dr. Michelle Pedicola.
And before Dr. Michelle starts, I would like to suggest that anyone who's not speaking, please turn off your camera during the speech.
Can you all hear me? Would you shake your head if you can? Great. Have you ever felt unworthy, unwanted, not good enough? I did. Yeah, me. National Honor Society Phi Beta Kappa PhD me. Well, what do you think motivates high achievers? What's the problem? Well, the problem is, I'm going to tell you about that because that's the subject of my speech. I'm going to tell you how I went from unworthy to loving and accepting who I really am. It started with my PhD. I asked my dad, Dad, what do you think about my PhD? I'm so ashamed. I never earned my BA. Did he struggle with self-worth too? I asked my boss, Dave, would you introduce me to social services as Dr. Pedicolis? Why don't you tattoo it to your forehead? Was he feeling competitive? Afraid of me? And then my husband leaves me for another woman when I get promoted, and he got fired from the same boss. I don't know what that was. 7-year itch? Midlife crisis? I was mad. I quit. I ran off to a spiritual community where relationships and work don't matter. In reality, I traded my husband, my boss, and my dad for my spiritual teacher. I did everything he asked. I promoted his workshops. I edited his books. I videotaped his shows. I became indispensable. My best method for proving my worth. Adnan, my teacher, was a shamanic drummer. Boom, tacky, 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 boom, tacky, 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 boom, boom, tack. Dancers from all over the world came to his workshops to learn to dance from spirit. I wanted to be one of his dancers, the ultimate proof of worthiness. But most of the time, I was out in the audience videotaping the other dancers. My costume danced in more shows than I did, on somebody else's body. But then one day, Adnan took away the camera, gave it to somebody else. No problem. Now I could be in his shows, on the sidelines with the other wannabes. But little by little, I got to dance on the stage with fewer and fewer dancers until one Christmas workshop in New York, I got my first solo for about 90 seconds, but it was a start. And then Adnan came to me and said he wanted me to come to his dance show in the Bronx. Did he want me to videotape or to dance? I brought my costume along just in case. But when I got to the event and looked around, all the other dancers were from his A-list. I asked him, Adnan, do you want me to dance? You could dance. With misgivings, I put on my thin silk skirt, my belt, bare belly, bra, naked shoulders, and went out into the frigid auditorium to videotape. 1 hour, 90 minutes, 2 hours. When I saw the same dancers getting up for the second time, I knew he had forgotten me. Tears streamed down my cheeks, blurring my makeup, dropping on the camera. Adnan must have sensed my distress because a replacement came out soon after. I walked to the stage slowly, like a prisoner going to the gallows. Shh, shh. I got on stage. I couldn't dance. Have you ever frozen at an important moment? I was mortified. Adnan sent in the rest of the dancers and ended the show. We all loaded up into the car of the only male student there and headed towards Manhattan. We stopped on the way and everybody at a market and everybody got out of the car except me and Tom, the driver. Tom said to me, "You know, you really are a good dancer." His words broke me open. I cried floods of tears. Tom said, "Why don't you come to my class next week and dance just for yourself?" And so I did. And it was glorious. I felt free and connected to spirit, to myself. I even found out I liked dancing. I made up my mind. I would not let anybody decide the value of my dance, not even Adnan. I would dance for myself. And wouldn't you know, next time I went to Adnan's workshop, he invited me to dance and gave me a real solo. There's a lesson in this. Stop doing everything for the approval of others. Do what you do because of passion, because it's who you really are. Adnan often said, do your own creative dance. And so I do, both literally and figuratively, because it's the best practice for being and loving myself. And I help other people to be and love themselves. What about you? Do you base your value on the approval of others? My advice, do your own creative dance as though your life depended on it, because it does. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. And can I get a minute on the clock?
That's 1 minute.
Thank you. And now I'd like to invite up Isaac Ford. And his talk title is I Can Do It. I Can Do It, Isaac Ford.
Every day, I would see Mrs. Allen as she walked by my house. I didn't know her personally, but every day I'd see her out there walking. She was in her 50s, but she looked 30. She would remind you of Venus Williams, athletic, energetic, and youthful. I was 25. In the morning, I didn't get out of bed. I had to roll out of bed because my back hurt so bad. I was always in pain. But one morning, my wife, JoJo, said, "Honey, would you come to me with Weight Watchers? Because I need to lose a little weight and I would like you to be some moral support." Now, JoJo was a singer. She had the eyes of Diana Ross and the body of Tina Turner. So when she asked me to go with her to Weight Watchers, I thought, you really don't need to lose any weight. But I said, okay, sure. When we got to Weight Watchers, this little blonde with this big voice said, welcome to Weight Watchers. The first thing I'm going to need you to do is weigh yourself. Who wants to go first? I thought, no problem. I'll go first. I'm just here to support my wife. I don't need to lose any weight. JoJo's eyes told me everything I needed to know. She tricked me. She didn't need to lose any weight. I was the one who needed to lose the weight. So Shar said there's going to be 3 things you're going to need to do to lose weight. The first thing is keep a food journal. You got to write down everything you eat, when you eat it, and how much you eat. And then the second thing is change your diet. You have to change your diet and eat lots of vegetables. And then the final thing is exercise. You got to exercise. So now I thought about this, but the thing that I didn't like about Weight Watchers is that they were located right next to Hometown Buffet. And I loved Hometown Buffet. So that part was hard, but I had started to walk a little bit. And one day I'm driving, and all of a sudden, this pain, I couldn't take a deep breath. It felt like I was having a heart attack. So that day, I got serious about losing weight. I started on my lunch break walking everywhere I needed to go. I would even get up early in the morning to go walking. Eventually, I started feeling a lot better. And as time went on, I really started feeling better. And all of a sudden, my backache left. And I thought, when I retired, that I would start walking more. So now, fast forward to today, I am going to be 70, my next birthday. And I started walking because of Mrs. Allen inspiring me to walk. And the thing about walking is I go all over my neighborhood. Because I'm retired, I have plenty of time. So as a result, one day walking, I got stopped by the police. The officer, now I'm thinking as I'm walking, why is he stopping me? I didn't walk a red light. I didn't jaywalk. I couldn't figure out why he was stopping me. You're wondering why I stopped you. Well, I just want to thank you. Because of you, I have lost 10 pounds. I see you walking everywhere, all over. You inspired me to start walking. If you can do it, I can do it. Now, if nothing else, the thing that I would like for you to take from this conversation is if you want to be healthier, start walking. If you want to lose weight and maintain a healthy weight, start walking. And stay youthful, start walking. Mrs. Allen, although I never met her, she inspired me to start walking. And I hope I'm inspiring you to start walking. Contest chair.
Thank you. Can I get a minute of silence?
That's 1 minute.
Thank you. Well, that's our first 4 speakers, and we have 3 more coming, but we're going to take a little break after we get a chance to check in with a few guests. And we have a few. So I'm going to call on you if you could just take a second and introduce yourself. If you are a Toastmaster, let us know what Toastmasters Club you're in. And if not, who invited you here or how you got here? That just helps us get to know who you are just a little. So let's start with Maureen.
Hi, I'm Maureen Filler, and I am a member of Scope Masters East Bay in Division D, Area D12, and I am also the open house chair for the district this year. Thank you.
Thank you. And Muriel?
Hi, yes. I'm from Los Angeles and I'm happy to be here.
Well, thank you for traveling so far.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Betty Jo. Betty Jo.
She's probably just tending to her baby. I told her that she
Okay.
could just pop on and listen.
Okay. Well then, let's send her some good vibes if she's tending to her baby, because we know how much work that is. Robert.
Yes, hello, fellow Toastmasters. I'm Robert Crosby, and my home club is Rockridge Toastmasters in North Oakland. I also happen to serve as your division director. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Thank you for being here. And Jack.
Thank you for having me. My name is Jack Kaminsky. I'm a Toastmaster. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. My club is Brooklyn's Best Toastmasters, and I'm affiliated with a whole bunch of other clubs. So speeches are great, and I'm looking forward to hearing the next 3.
Thank you for coming all the way from Brooklyn. And John White, who's luckily told us he got a ticket.
Yes, I did get a ticket. I waited in line a long time, paid service fees and everything. Yeah, I'm a Toastmaster for 17 years. I hail from Los Angeles District 1, and my main club is Century City Toastmasters. Like a lot of the Toastmasters, I've joined other clubs, so I'm a member of 4, including Masters of Evaluation and a few others.
Excellent.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And Judith Ferber.
Thank you. I have been invited by this fabulous contest chair you have. I am a member of 3 Toastmaster clubs, and thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you for coming. And Karen Davis.
Well, thank you. I would come back on camera, but for some reason, I don't know, it says the host stopped my video or something, so I can't come on camera, but it's nice to see you guys. And I am a member of ARPB Toastmasters. I am also the director for area, oh, thank you. I'm also the director for area D30. And I've been invited, I was so grateful to be invited to this contest by Catherine to be, all the clubs have in my area have invited me, but I'm so grateful that I was able to come to this one. Like you, I'm happy I got my ticket. Okay, so thank you. Back to you.
Okay, and Ceres Smith.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ceres. I am a part of the same Toastmasters as Karen Davis, which is 8933, and was invited by, I guess, Karen and Catherine, or okay, I'm messing up the names, but I'm just happy to be a part of this the wonderful speeches, and just is phenomenal stories. Thank you so much.
And did I miss anybody? Is that all the guests?
I think Jamila is a guest. I can't change it though.
Jamila?
And Muriel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamila. I'm glad to be here. I enjoyed the speeches, and I'm from Black Talk Toastmasters. I'm a new member, so I'm learning a lot and enjoying the journey of being a better public speaker. Thank you for having me.
Great. I think we got Muriel, but anybody else? Okay, so we can all take a community deep breath. And it's time for a short stretch break. So let's reconvene at 5 o'clock on the dot. It's a little bit over 10 minutes. And go take care of whatever, breathe, stretch, you feed the dog, whatever it takes, and we'll be back.
And that is our time. Madam Toastmaster.
Oops, looks like we lost everybody.
We gave them until
No,
5 p.m.
We got 5 more minutes.
Ah,
Right.
So
Exactly.
we've extended the time, I guess.
Yeah, we just went a little over 10 minutes, so we're at the top of the hour.
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
4:55 on my phone. That's fine.
So we have 5 more minutes.
5 or 8 p.m. respectively, unless you're Grace in Texas, so it's 7 p.m.
Well, I'll put some more music back on then. What the heck?
That was very nice music.
How about more of that?
Yes, lovely.
Oh.
Can you hear that?
Yes. Thank you. Woo.
Oh, do we have everybody back? And we pop up with our screens.
That was lovely, Michael Ann.
Thank you.
Very lovely, very lovely. Very elevating vibrationally.
Okay. So we're going to reconvene the meeting and invite our next contestant to the screen, and that is Karina Aragon. I'd rather be a man. I'd rather be a man, Karina Aragon.
Well, hello. Hi, my name's Karina. Thanks for joining. I'm a life coach and astrologer. And what you might not know about me is that I studied theater at UCSD and I ended up getting my degree in psychology. Now, I've learned so much from being a Toastmaster. Tips on being a better actor, how to use the stage, and not only on the stage, but also on camera. There is a big difference between acting and giving a speech on camera than on a stage. Now, one is vocal variety, right? And so on stage, you have to increase your volume so then you could project to the back of the theater. And also acting on camera, you should lower your voice just a little bit so you're not blowing people's speakers. Now, I have learned that facial expressions and body language depend on whether you're speaking or performing on a stage or on camera. So a couple tips is be open. When your hands are crossed, you're putting a barrier between you and your audience. And another one is hand gestures. Hand gestures are great to convey certain messages. Also, vocal variety. So today I'm going to be performing a little monologue for you and try to give you some little tips on what I just showed you or taught you. I don't know what's gotten into me lately. I just get so when guys come up to me with their cheesy lines. Hey, you have such a beautiful smile. Or, can I tell you how beautiful you are? It disgusts me. It's like, who does this guy or that guy think he is to give me such compliments? I mean, who do they think they are? I don't do anything to give off any interest whatsoever. Like I completely look the other way when I see eye contact happening, and they still come over with their, thinking that they're all suave, and it's simply repulsive. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, what does the girl have to do? Maybe if I vomit on myself, they'll turn around and walk the other way. But I mean, then again, they might just pull off something like this. Oh, the way you vomit on yourself is just so delightful. All I want to do is to be left alone. Is that too much to ask? And I mean, I have a man and I love my man. but I try to be polite and, but it's like the irritation and the cheesy lines have just got to be too much. I mean, guys are blind. They're absolutely oblivious when a woman is not interested. There's just some days I'd rather be a man. Thank you. And yeah, if you would like to work with me to becoming your best self, or if you'd always dreamed to be an actor or a comedian, or even just killing it on your lives, hit me up, DM me. Karina, your Loose Living Coach. Thank you.
I just asked for a minute on the clock about 10 seconds ago, and I realized I'm muted.
So we'll get a minute and 10 seconds. That's 1 minute.
Thank you. And next, I'd like to invite Kimmy Avery to the stage. Kimmy Avery's title is End the Cycle of Abuse Forever. End the Cycle of Abuse Forever. Kimmy Avery.
Have you ever been in an abusive relationship? Have you known anybody who's been in an abusive relationship? It can be verbal or emotional abuse. It can be physical abuse, and it doesn't have to be that way. I'm Kimmy Avery, and I am a relationship navigation specialist. I help men and women to understand each other better so that they can have amazing relationships. Because the truth is, relationships are not for the faint of heart. And we don't always have great examples about how to be in a relationship, do we? I've been studying love and relationships my whole life. I have a master's in counseling, a bachelor's in family studies and human development. I'm an NLP master practitioner and trainer, and I am all about love. Love that makes you shine. I help you create a divine relationship with yourself and others, whether that's personally or professionally, but it starts with you. The problem is that men and women think of each other as versions of themselves. The masculine is this provider, protector, producer energy. The feminine is a supporter, adapter, enhancer energy. They both complement each other. They're two sides of the same coin. And women can be in masculine mode, men can be in feminine mode. So I'm going to use him and her over here, or him and he over here, and her and she over here. But that can apply to same-sex relationships or heterosexual couples. It applies really everywhere. And I was 36 when I went to a workshop called Celebrating Men, Satisfying Women. And I'd gone there because a boyfriend of mine had suggested that I meet Alison Armstrong. And I was astounded by what I'd learned. That men are driven and compelled to be providers and protectors for the people who they claim are theirs, who they put in their commitment circle. I had no idea. And after the first day, I said to the trainer, I want to do what you do. That was 23 years ago. And what I'm going to teach you today can change your life. It can end abuse and transform your experience. In this foundation, we also have, so we've got the masculine and the feminine, we have that's all part of our instinctual experience. And this is about survival, about procreating, about the reason we have a species right now. And up here is your spiritual self. And you can be the most conscious, divine, spiritual person in the world and get tripped up in your relationships if you don't understand this masculine and feminine dance. It gets in the way of relationships going well. And part of that is because we all suffer from CEOs, which is stuck in your own head syndrome. CEOs for short. Feminine women tend to look at men as hairier, misbehaving versions of ourselves, who are either doing things we would never do and we're upset, or not doing the things we would do and we're upset. So we're kind of chronically upset with men. Men tend to look at women as smaller, emotionally indulgent versions of themselves who can't get to the point to save their lives. You can see how this could be a bit of a problem, right? So what I want to share with you is a key, which is women are notoriously bad about expressing what we need until we're upset without it. We think we've said it, but we haven't. And men tend to be pretty bad at mind reading. So they don't know what she really needs. And she gets upset and he doesn't know. And pretty soon, instead of providing and protecting her, he's protecting himself. He has to protect himself first. If a man goes into the military and he's out on the battlefield and he can't do his job protecting his partners and all the people out on the field with him, he has to protect himself first so he can do his job. So if she comes at him and says, "You never bring me flowers, you don't do the dishes, you don't help out," he's going to slowly back away or start protecting himself. And this protection tends to have a man start objectifying the person who's criticizing him. It can be on the battlefield, it's objectifying the enemy. So pretty soon, she's the enemy. She doesn't want that. She thinks she's told him what she needs. And when she can't get what she needs, she starts to emasculate. And this goes through a series of steps. She'll start to guilt trip him. "You never do this. I do everything for you. Why don't you do this thing I need?" He still doesn't know because she's not told him. She withholds sex and attention because maybe that's going to get him to just start doing the thing she needs. Her interpretation of him not doing the thing she needs is he doesn't love me, respect me, or care about me enough to do the right thing. That's a problem. Then she starts giving him consequences. "Well, you don't do these things, so I'm not going to do those things." She starts to give him competition. And in a woman's mind, it's not competition, but what she says is, "Oh, Margie's husband brings her flowers." She's giving him an example. She's trying to be helpful. He hears it as criticism. "Oh God, I'm failing again. I'm failing again." Pretty soon, there's this spiral downward. And sometimes he accidentally gets it right. And when that happens, he gets a reward. You can use your imagination for what kind of a reward that might be. But he'll get a reward and he's like, "That's great, but what did I do to deserve this? How did I actually succeed?" This cycle turns into violence because she becomes righteously pissed. He's protecting himself and she becomes an object. And between these two, they clash and they clash and they clash, and then they spiral down. This can be changed. This can be healed. and you can create a relationship that spirals into heaven. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Kimmy. And can I get a minute on the clock?
That's 1 minute.
Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Cynthia Stott to the stage. Cynthia Stott's talk is Once Upon a True Love Story. Once Upon a True Love Story, Cynthia Stott.
I'm at the airport and my husband Dean is supposed to pick me up. So I call him. Bring, 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 bring. No answer. How funny. I haven't been able to reach him all day. I'll call his mom. Bring, bring. Hi, Mish. Have you talked to Dean today? I haven't been able to get a hold of him. Well, could you and Jerry meet me at the apartment and we'll probably find Dean and we'll have a laugh and have dinner and everything will be great. Okay, I'll see you soon. Click. I arrived 20 minutes later ahead of my in-laws. And I open the door of my apartment and they're in the lobby. And I'm like, hi. And I give my father-in-law a big hug. And he pulls me closer and he says, Dean is gone. He died in his sleep. No, no, no. My heart broke, shattering in 1,000 pieces on the floor. At that moment, my life changed forever. April 4th, 2003. I cried myself to dehydration for 21 days. I would cry and then bawl and then lose all my tears because I was dehydrated. And my father-in-law said, just pour the water over your head and skip the middleman. I was inconsolable. I was not suicidal, but I could have laid on the floor and died. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and anyone who has had their heart broken from losing a loved one. Grief is a process, not a life sentence. Let me take you back to 1989. Come with me, where I first met Dean. Our favorite song was Love Shack, Baby Love Shack. We loved it. And we had our own love shack. We were so in love that I can't even tell you about our first date because it was R-rated. But that is a story for another day. In 1995, we were married on a cruise to Alaska. When we got to the courthouse, they made us raise our right hand and swear that we were not related to each other as far as we knew. Dean said, "We look like brother and sister, but we are not." We traveled the world. We went to England, Scotland, and to Japan. And in Japan, we held hands under the table. We thought slyly, but our teppanyaki chef could see us. And he smiled and he turned our rice into a cake that was a heart. We were so in love. We were like honeymooners every day. And about a month before he died, he said to me, "Cynthia, you can be so much more than you are. I think I hold you back." "What? You hold me back? No way. No way." But he wouldn't take no for an answer. When I was coming home one night after his death, I heard him yell at me from beyond the grave. "If you die, I will never forgive you. You must live." Wow, that hit me. That hit me hard. I had to live now for Dean. I couldn't just lay on the floor and die. I had to live, not just to exist. So I went to a self-discovery workshop. And if you were sitting on the floor with me, you would have heard the instructor say, "Life is a blank sheet of paper upon which you draw. What do you want to draw?" I thought, courage. I need courage. I was afraid of everything. I had 7 strong phobias. And Dean was my courage. Dean was my rock. So I went on a journey to find my courage. And I did. Dean saw what I couldn't see. He knew what I could be when I didn't know what I could be. Grief is a process. And if you have lost a loved one, a spouse, a parent, even a child, they want you to live. I did it for Dean. You can do it for Dean or your loved one, because you must live. Because grief is a process. You aren't meant to stay there. It isn't a life sentence. So you can pick yourself up and you can go on and you can find happiness. More happiness than I ever thought I could. More courage than I ever dreamed of. And when I found my courage, Dean said, "That's my woman. That's my wife." He was so proud of me, and I was proud of me. Grief is a process, not a life sentence. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. And can I get a minute on the clock?
That's 1 minute.
Great, thank you. And now I'd like to ask the tech host to move our contest officials to their appropriate breakout rooms.
The rooms are open and they just need to join.
Thank you. And I am going to invite Kathleen Peel to the front, to the stage. Kathleen is our contest co-chair, and we'll take it from here for a moment. Kathleen?
Boy, wasn't that fun? Let us, please, we've been withholding our faces and our joy and our appreciation. I know we've been excited and moved by these speeches. Let us open our videos, open our audio, and do a little celebration here. Thank you, speakers.
Awesome.
Really great.
Excellent.
Thank you for giving us so much of your heart and your talents and your drive to what's the theme of the meeting? Personal best. And you guys brought it. I'm going to, we are just a little bit ahead of time, enough ahead of time that we can allow ourselves a normal table topics period of 1 to 2 minutes. So Madam Timer, instead of 45 to 90 seconds, let's make it 1 minute, 1.5, and 2 minutes. And you don't have to take that long, but if you can, you want. I would like to call on our first speaker, Gary, to tell us. I understand that positive people inspire you. And I also love that your favorite quote is, if you don't know where you're going, you might end up someplace else. That wonderful line from Yogi Berra. So Gary, how does the energy of positive people, and how does that help people know where they're going so that they get their fulfillment in life?
Kathleen, what a great, deep question. My experience has been that positive individuals, they attract things to them, and what they attract is opportunities. And when they're positive and have a good self-image and they see the opportunity, they act on it, they take it. There's a study, I can't recall where it said, when an idea comes to you, you've got like 4 seconds to grab it and act on it. Otherwise it's gone. So a positive individual attracts the energy to them. They have the self-confidence to act when they see the opportunity, and not only act, but they have the confidence to live and realize they may make some mistakes. However, they've moved forward. As a result, they continue to attract positive opportunities to them. And that's the beauty, because it gives them a sense of where they're going. It's not like Yogi Berra's quote that says, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. So they tend to end up where they intended to end up, the right place. So thank you for that great question.
Thank you, Gary, and you demonstrate this so well. You really are a teacher in that very quality. And our next speaker, Annabelle. Annabelle, you raised 2 incredible daughters. And in a way, as VPE in this club, you kind of bring us up. Is there something about your love of life? What about your love of life gave you that little genius that was so good at helping your daughters grow into their natural talents, and that you help our club in the same way?
Oh my goodness, another deep question. This contest chair. Let's see.
Oh, well, we can talk about the Niners if you want.
No, I have no idea about any of that stuff. So that wouldn't do. I wouldn't be able to contribute anything in that arena. I think it is my desire to see people shine and grow. I mean, I see that's kind of, I see that in a lot of the members of our club too. We're such nurturing people, and we want other people to open up and let us see their amazing talents and their gifts. And I and then in the other way, in the other direction, my daughters are at an age now where they're teaching me things. They're saying, "Oh, Mom, you should do that, or you should do that, or yeah, you're good at that. You should try that." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I never thought of that." So I kind of those first 18 years or whatever, I think I tried to give them a good start and show them a lot of different ways that they can directions that they can go in their life. But now it's kind of turned around a little bit, so that's kind of fun, and it's fun to have these two girls as adults, millennials in my life. So they teach me so much about technology and about, "Oh, Mom, that's not true," and they bring out the research for things that I thought my whole life was a certain way, and they say, "No, Mom, you know what? The truth is da 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 da." And I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I guess so. I could look into that," because you can get really entrenched in your ideas, and as an older person. So it's nice having them around to help me grow and learn. Yes, yeah, thank you. That was a great question.
And you know what, Annabelle, that there's this wonderful milk of human kindness, inspiration, fairy dust stuff that belongs to you, that it makes me grow.
Oh my gosh.
I responded to you the first time I met you, and every time I speak with you.
You are so sweet. Same here. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. And then Michelle, you really do have a magic about you, which is, I think it has to do with drawing from your spiritual practice, or the talents which had you follow your spiritual practice, and then your capabilities to get stuff done, to overachieve. Can you tell us about that? How do you thread? Have you always done that? How do you thread the two?
It's essential for me to thread the spiritual practice into what I do. It is what enabled me to see things in a different way, to stop seeing things as the world being unfriendly, and for me having to prove myself. The spiritual practice taught me that everything happens for a reason, and that everything that comes my way is valuable and I can learn from it. So as long as I stay in that mental focus, everything evolves the way it is meant to evolve. It takes the fear out of life, basically.
Perfect. Perfect. You said it all. Thank you very much. And Isaac, I understand that when you first found your way to a Toastmasters club, it was near to your house, and it was a certain kind of, it had a certain special quality about this Toastmasters club. Would you tell us the story about what the storytelling in that original club set you on your Toastmasters path?
Great. Thank you for that question, Kathleen. When I joined Toastmasters, it was 2001, and there was a Salvation Army right up the street from where I lived. So I went, you search Toastmasters, and it was so close. So I went to that Toastmasters club. And that club had guys in there that were in trouble. So that's why the owner or the sergeant of that club told them, either you can join Toastmasters or you may end up going back to jail, because a lot of them were having problems and stuff. And the thing that I really took away from that Toastmasters group was these guys were giving heartfelt testimonies about their life and how they wound up where they were. And that really kind of spoiled me in the fact that that's what I thought Toastmasters was about. And truly it is, especially when you give contests, you know, people are telling things that happened to them. So that really affected me, because I mean, the stories that these guys were giving, it was like testimonies, really. And that's what really made me think, you know what, that's how you should speak, from the heart, you know, from what really moves you. So that was my first Toastmasters group. And it's, you know, I wish it was still around, but it's not. So that was how I got into Toastmasters. And I thank you for that question, Kathleen.
I think you probably have that understanding about the value of storytelling, the meaning of storytelling anyway, but I'm sure glad you met those guys, because you teach me a lot about the humanity of storytelling.
Thank you.
And then Karina, so you were an actor and a theater major before you ever took on the professional life of coaching and astrology. How does that fit together? I'm thinking that the creative imagination connects with the bigger world and astrology. You tell me, how do those talents fit together in your life?
You're muted.
Well, I hope my facial expressions were enough. No. So yeah, I've been acting since I was a young girl in church. And then it was just something that kind of stuck. I ended up going into college, and I did take a speech class, which I really enjoyed. And it kind of launched me into I wonder what this Toastmasters thing is all about. And it was something that I'd always wanted to do. I ended up transferring to UCSD and studying theater there. They have the La Jolla Playhouse. So I got to work backstage and costume design. And it was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed acting. And I still actually do theater today, in which why I did the monologue, because I have an audition tomorrow. I thought I'd practice. And yeah, so the astrology comes in. So first it's theater, then I switched my major to psychology to get to know and invest in the character more, and then Toastmasters to get me back into the theater and auditioning and feeling comfortable on stage again. And then the astrology just really helps me delve in deeper into character analysis. So yeah, that's my time.
Thank you, my dear. And then Kimmy, you clearly are a healer and a wise healer. When I see you, I think of that old saying, physician, heal thyself, that comes from the Bible and beyond. It's such a famous quote, and it seems to imply that we all have wounds, and in the healing is our wisdom and perhaps what we have to share and teach with the world. Is that the case with you? Tell us about how your teaching path is your healing path, if there is one.
Thank you for that question. Absolutely. I think you teach what you learn yourself more, and you integrate it more effectively when you're teaching it. So I remember reading a bunch of self-help books in my early 20s, and one day it dawned on me, just reading them wasn't going to change my life. So I began to really apply what I was learning. And I was about 27 or something when I came across A Course in Miracles. So I started studying that. And one of the key concepts in the course is teach to learn. And everybody is your teacher also. You're a teacher. And anything we experience is a learning opportunity. We can go down the path of saying, oh, I failed and it's miserable, but failure just sort of stops us in our tracks. But instead, if we look at it like, oh, what can I learn here? How could I do this differently? How can I refine myself? Everything and every one of us is a beautiful gem. And every opportunity in life is an opportunity to be polished. Everything is here to help us, everything. And that's the message I give my clients. That's the message I try to give to everybody I come into contact with, is that life's here as an opportunity for us to refine ourselves, to reach our more spiritual expression, to live a full and rich life. There's no place where you don't have an opportunity to grow. And the only failure is really just stopping and giving up. Back to you, Kathleen.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you. And Cynthia, I love your favorite quote from Maya Angelou. Your favorite quote is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Tell us about that, Cynthia.
That's a really powerful quote, and I've reconnected with that because at times I've had a Pollyanna look at life, and I tend to see the best in people, but that's not necessarily the truth of who they are at that moment. And I think Maya Angelou gives us the best wisdom in that just believe people the first time they say who they are. I really believe that people can change. I'm an example of that. I spent 40 years almost of my life terrified of everything, including public speaking and visibility. And now I'm an international speech coach and confidence coach and a global visibility influencer with over 50,000 followers in 140 plus countries. So I have completely changed. In fact, my grief counselor said to me, at 35 years of age, you're pretty much set. That's who you are. And you're going to change a little bit, but not much. And I said some choice words. And I said, that is absolutely not true. And I fired her because if she couldn't think that I could change and shift, what was I going to do talking with her? And I am completely different than I was at 35 years old. Dean died when I was 37. And he really saw in me what I was able to create in myself. He saw it first, and I just had to trust him and know that he loved me and that everything would be okay. That's what he told me when he left. He told me, everything's going to be okay. And I believed him, and I still do. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master and Contest Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. How touching, how beautiful. And now we're going to step into the close of the meeting and the results of the contest.
They're not back yet.
Oh, they're not. Oh, okay. All righty.
I could
Cool.
make a quick announcement.
Oh, please do. Yeah.
So Deb Peretz and Grace Quatera and I are working on the PR team. Deb is the PR guru. She's our hero. And we have put together a form for anybody who wants to write a blog article for our new blog that we have for Heart to Heart, and or if you give a speech, you can approve or say you don't want your speech to be publicized on YouTube. And also you can also do a video clip that says my why, how Toastmasters is helping you and your business grow. And I'm going to put the form in here so you can check it out. If you have an article that you want to write right away, we would love that, because we're trying to do a blog post every week so we get new people to come. And I'm going to put the link in here right now. Everybody check it out, see what we've created.
Yep.
If you could use it at other clubs, but this is what we're doing for Heart to Heart.
And Deb's already put it in.
Oh, thank you, Deb.
Could you also put the guest link in, Kimmy?
Yes, I'll put it in again.
And now, Kathleen, they're all back.
All right. Well, this is fun. I'm going to take another quick screenshot of the whole group. So
Video
smile. And the contest results are in. Our award number 3, third place, Isaac Ford.
Woohoo!
Awesome speech.
Congratulations.
Awesome speech. So touching, Isaac. Our second place winner is Cynthia Stock.
Oh, thank you. Woo, great.
And our first place prize goes to Michelle Peticolas.
Woo! Awesome. Congratulations. Woohoo.
Yay! And happy birthday. What a
Thank
great
you.
birthday
What a
present.
great
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Wow, happy birthday, Michelle.
Thank you.
Happy
No,
birthday.
best birthday ever, right?
Yeah, good birthday.
Congratulations, all you guys. You guys did such a great job.
You
All of
did.
the speeches were amazing. Man, I don't know how the judges did it. You guys were all amazing. So it was
Fabulous.
just really,
That's
everybody
the
was
conundrum
amazing.
of Heart to
So,
Heart.
yeah, that was you guys, man, talent personified. Wow. All right. So congratulations to all of you. I have to leave now, but thank you so much for allowing me to be in here and just take a look and watch these speeches and just be schooled because this was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Karen.
you.
You
So
guys
much.
have a blessed rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Wonderful.
Bye,
Are you
Karen.
taking a screenshot?
You.
Catherine,
Yeah.
are you taking a screenshot with that beautiful cup?
Do you want to, how do you say, spotlight? Oh, you have it in there. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm covering up my camera and yeah. Oops, I have only 2
The
hands.
trophy.
That's great.
Love
That's
it.
a screenshot right there.
Let me, can anybody else take a screenshot when I take my hand away? from the screenshot
Sure,
thing?
I'll do it.
Good. Thank you, darling.
And just so you know, Kimmy, somebody should write this up for our blog post with this picture.
I was thinking that, and we have, we can put it in the form, and since I take off to Hawaii tomorrow morning for a month
Wow.
for hot yoga teacher training,
Fun.
I
Lucky.
probably won't
Have
be
a
able to
good-
write an article, but I
Oh.
could upload the picture.
Upload the picture
Great.
and
Great.
we can collaborate on that.
Mhm.
And
I'll work
I
on
will
it.
be I will be competing in an area contest in Canada, in Toronto.
Wow.
I have joined a club in Toronto, so I will be competing so as not to compete against Michelle and any of our other members. I'm going to another district in Toronto. So Isaac, that makes you second place. And if Michelle is going to represent Leaders Worldwide, either you and
That
me.
makes Isaac first place representing Heart to Heart.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
So many ways to win.
Yes.
And then,
All right.
and the fourth
That's
speaker
amazing.
would be the backup, would be the second one, the runner up that would present if Isaac couldn't come. But I think Isaac's going to be there.
All right.
I think so.
Well, okay.
Cynthia,
Alrighty.
what is the name of the club in Toronto?
It is Milliken Mills.
Oh,
And
because
it's small
I used to go to one. Yeah, that's a different one.
and it's a very small club, but a small but mighty. It's wonderful. And
Okay,
they
well,
already have made me the appointee to the area contest on the 26th of February.
well,
All right.
congratulations to everybody.
Oh,
You all
yes.
did a great
And
job.
I want to be sure that everyone understands, especially Mr. Isaac Ford, that the District 30 area contest is on March 18th, and that is from 1 to 4 p.m. So keep tuned and keep tuning up, Mr. Isaac Ford. So
what about the area contest for D30? Because you got to go there first, right?
that is
The D30 area contest is March.
It's March
18th.
Right. Okay. And then
And
you
is that both
Right.
the evaluation and the international speech contest?
I believe so,
Together?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
On a Saturday, right? Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to I want to express my thanks for the contest official team. Our ballot counters were marvelous.
yes.
We
And
are very, very happy with Contest Console. And I also want to acknowledge that most of our judges came to a very special contest that we held on Wednesday. We had to time travel to participate in this contest to Star Trek Enterprise, the Next Generation. And the winner of that contest, as one of our judges said, Dr. Beverly Crusher crushed the contest. It came in first. Data came in second, and Jordy LaForge came in third. And what this means that the area contest for the Alpha Quadrant area will be meeting at a date to be determined on Rigel 4, the party planet. And if Dr. Beverly can't make it, then Data is going to beam down. And if Data can't make it, then Jordy will be there. So we want to let you know that we practiced very well and had fun.
You know,
Wow.
there's
Isn't
nothing
that a great?
there's nothing that we could say that's not creative here.
And that
we
new
do have-
judges ballot counter is amazing.
It's amazing. Yes, yes.
Yes, it is. And now let us quickly turn the microphone and the virtual lectern to our President Linda Patton.
Yay!
Good evening. Although for me, it's good night. I was very impressed with this evening's contest, both the contestants themselves and, as Michael Ann said, all of the functionaries did a stellar job, and it was easy and effortless. And I think we did an absolutely spectacular job. I would definitely do this again. And I'm loving what PR is doing in getting us out there. And I want to thank them for putting my announcement in the last newsletter. That was very special to me. And I thank you so much for that. And I would ask that, although we took pictures, so do we need to take any more pictures, or are we good with pictures?
I'm good if you're good.
Okay, I think we're good as well. And with that,
Can we just welcome our newest member?
Young?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
You.
Yes, of course. Young Tong is here.
Yay.
She's in the house.
Whoa.
So, Young, is this going to be a project that you're going to shoot for next year to be in the contest?
I will see.
Very We'll
diplomatic.
do everything we can to get you prepared to
Thank you.
create and deliver the best speech of your life. Okay, any hands up, anything anyone else wants to impart on that?
Oh, wait.
yes, Amber.
Join us for the third Thursday meeting. Don't
Yes.
forget. Yeah, we're going to have a great meeting, an hour-long meeting, and it's always at 10 to 11 Pacific time. And I just wanted to add too that the wonderful blog that Kimmy was talking about can be reached right from our website. You just go to the left-hand side and there's the Heart to Heart blog. You can just click that right on that. You don't even have to log in as a member. It's there for public viewing. So it looks really good too. I looked at it. Awesome job, you guys.
And did we put an invitation to people who are coming to our newsletter who are not members to come join us in a meeting?
Yes, every blog post ends with join us at our next meeting. Here's how you register.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. What a
And the
great
more
call to
articles,
action.
the more articles we get, the more blog posts, and it doesn't 200 to 500 words. I mean, really, it can be short and sweet. But the more blog articles we get, the more our views on Google, our ranking on Google goes up, and that's going to help us to get more visibility and draw in more guests and hopefully new members. And that form that we put in there allows you to put your social media, a short bio, a headshot, and things about your business. So every time you write an article, it's free publicity. It helps the club, it helps you.
Yeah, just to add one quick line to that, one of our purposes of the blog is to help show the connection between Heart to Heart as Toastmasters Club and how it impacts us as entrepreneurs or our lives.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, because that connection is
Wonderful.
very important. So on that note, if there are no more announcements, let's congratulate our contestants and winners one more time for doing an
Wonderful
stellar job.
speeches. Everyone did
Great job. Great
Great
team.
job.
Great, excellent contest. Very organized, really together.
Really
Thank
well
you.
done.
Thank you,
Well done.
Sharias. Thank you, Sharias. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Jack. So happy to have you.
Yeah, thanks,
We'll
guys.
see you again, Sharias.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Our
Absolutely.
pleasure.
Okay, on
Okay.
that note, I'm going to end the recording and say good night.
And
Night, all.
make me host
Sorry,
Linda,
same here.
before you leave.
What?
Make me host before you leave.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Don't want me to close?
Happy birthday,
Make me
Happy
host.
birthday, Michelle.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Happy
you.
birthday
Wonderful.
to you.
That's a
Thank
nice
you.
present, right?
Happy birthday.
Nice
to
present.
you.
Really great for your birthday.
Yeah,
Oh.
really good.
Can I close the recording, Michael Ann?
You can
Yes.
go ahead and end the record. Yeah, we all end the record.